nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. Joining me is Rafa, and I believe Royce is coming. He was here earlier but had to step out. Wanted to start the show off with SAFC's promo for the playoffs here with Fight Together and We Are the Aggressors. And I think after game one, the first round, you would have to say they did a pretty good job living up to that motto there. Rafa, welcome. How are you?
Good. I'm back in SA, being up in Buddy Holly country up in Lubbock, and then made my way down to the Concho Valley to San Angelo. I just came back today, back to San Antonio.
So, any fun road adventures you want to share?
I did post some good food that they fed us over there at one of the two dinners and then the luncheons we had to attend, and some good desserts, and we ate some good mom and pop tacos. There's one place, Pollo Rico's. If you're in Lubbock, it's a really good street tacos there. And then Spanky's Burgers, that place was good. It's right next to Texas Tech University, so I do recommend those two places.
Yeah, so this past week, it's been obviously here in San Antonio. Been a little bit fun. Last night I was on a podcast starting at 10:30. It went to about midnight with the Orange and Black Soccer Cast out in Orange County, which could be the possible future opponent for us for that here. But let's get started on some Copa Tejas news for that here. They came out and released the 2021 USL Copa 11, the best 11 in Texas. This is voted on by the supporters, for that here. So Crocketeers, 210 Alliance, Mission City, was it the Cinco? I never get the one from Austin right. Was it the La Cinco Dos? The 512?
The 512.
512. Sorry, I never get it right here. Seriously, Loco and the Stampede. So it's all voted on. Steve and Danielle do a great job of putting this together, and they had double duty with Copa Tejas MLS, but we're not an MLS show, so we won't go into their details. But Mark Lowry is coach from El Paso, goalkeeper Logan Ketterer, El Paso defenders Yuma and Jerome Michek from El Paso, Adrian Dispay from RGV, and Courtney Ford from San Antonio. Midfielders, Diego Luna, Dylan Myers from El Paso, Jose Gallegos, Javier Baez, and forwards, Nathan and Luis Solinag. I think the big glaring to me, and I hate saying that, but it is Lopez from RGV, who had the hell of a kick against Phoenix this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you fit him in because I don't think you're taking out Luna, Jose, and I'm assuming they try to get one from each team in there at least. So for the bold player, that's they're there. But to me, that would be that'd be the big miss. Coach, you got to give it to Lowry. And as a San Antonio FC fan, and especially this week here, I do think some considerations have to go to RGV's coach, Wilmer Cabrera.
Yeah.
Because nobody, at least in my opinion, nobody had RGV making the playoffs, outside of the Edinburgh area. Defenders, like I said here, I think you can make a few arguments back and forth, but I thought overall, no huge complaints, at least on my side. That they're all valid, and they're all. There's no glaring misses, on there. Your thoughts on it?
I think it's expected as usual. Those players, I mean, those have been the top players that we've seen throughout the season. And I mean, if there was, I don't know, there's a second team. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some other ones. Like Luna will probably be on the second team and so forth. But I mean, no complaints there. Especially up top, Nathan. I mean, he was the breakout player. If there is a breakout player for USL, it's Nathan with those goals scored. I think nobody expected that. I mean, what do you expect from Solniak? He was part of us the last year, and so we know
he's the only person that made it from two separate teams on that in the 2 years. And I want to say Jose is a
two-time or three-time?
Two-time, because it's only been around two times, because they didn't have one last year. I'm trying to see if I can find it. So the only two times is Jose Gallegos and Dylan Myers of El Paso, and then of course Solinag is the Lucho is the only one that's made it twice, but for two separate teams here. So, but I do think you bring up a great idea on having a second team. Maybe they don't get the hardware that Copa Tejas provides to them, but at least would be good to kind of acknowledge, because like I said, it would be interesting to kind of see how close things were, especially on midfield.
Yeah,
like I said here.
I think Mohammed should be on there. I think you can take. I think.
But who are you taking off? Luna's.
No, but as far as maybe if there was a second team, because you can look at other sport, other like football, like a college football, even the conferences or even high school, like your district. You have a first team, second team, and honorable mention. I think Mo would probably be not an honorable mention, but I think he'd be on the second team. Matt could be on the second team.
This is going to be a hot topic.
I know he wasn't the top keeper, but consistently, like I said, until he recently just missed his first game, But they hadn't really put a bunch of goals on him. Too many goals on him. So I'd give him a second team consideration, and there's a couple other, there's other ones too.
Well, for goalie, I think for the Bulls' best player would have been what was the Bold goalkeeper Elliot. Hold on one second.
Yeah, he can be considered. He can be a consideration there too.
Because he was, stat wise, he had higher numbers than Matt did.
Yeah.
So and that's not trying to disrespect Matt at all. Elliot Panchico, or Panico. There we go. Elliot Panico. To me, if you didn't have Logan Ketterer on there, and like I said here, it's no disrespect to Logan. I think he is a class goalkeeper, but like I said here, if I hate to say this, I would have put Elliot over Matt, but it also unfortunately for goalkeepers, a lot of it has to do with who's in front of you and the system that you play. Because I think we saw with Matt, his stats may not have been the prettiest, but he kept the team in, and especially early on when they were going through all the injuries for that here. And Logan, obviously he's got a call up to Portland Timbers this year. I think he was player of the week or goaltender of the week up there. So well deserved. Well deserved up there for for Logan. Defense, Michek and Yuma, two class defenders. Adrian Dispay is good, and obviously Courtney Ford. I won't lie, I was a little bit surprised that Courtney Ford got on, just because he had, and it's not about the talent. It's just the time frame that he was down here with us. But like I said, he has 4 goals. He, in my opinion, he's a great leader on the defense. And, outside of Sebastian Ugabaga, he's probably the best defender that I've been able to see in person, on the team. And you can tell why he's MLS quality for that here.
I mean, you can even look into Tanner too. I mean, but he came late. So, I mean, if there was a second team, he'd probably be on there too. So maybe that's something. Maybe if Clubhouse of Texas is watching, maybe that's something that can take consideration next year, having a first team, second team, and I think they should even include a Copa Tejas MVP,
or maybe not. So
offensive or defensive player of the year.
So maybe not a full second team, but maybe like a bench.
Like an honorable mention,
where you do like an 18, where you have the second goalkeeper, and then depending on which position, because let's be honest, probably forwards outside of Nathan and Luis Solinag, probably pretty thin on as far as stats, for leading goal scorer here, because although Elvis Emo had 11, Nathan has 11. So, he would have been up for consideration. But to me, especially where you get into that midfield and defenders situation, I do think maybe kind of being on the bench, like I said, maybe you don't get the hardware, but being named on there, I do think would be something to consider. And also, for El Paso, Jose Gomez had 10 goals as well. So, a lot of talent that was displayed.
That's the thing. They kind of made fun of the Mountain Division, like that we were the weak division, and that improved this past weekend, except for Colorado and then El Paso pretty much choking. So, but you got to give it to the other two Mountain West teams.
So Royce is on his way here. Unfortunately had a family thing pop up here, but he'll be popping in. So let's go because I want to kind of save the SAFC stuff for him. So let's go with kind of international news, and like I said, here we can bring Royce in, at the end of the show. Big one this week, right? Mexico and the United States in Cincinnati. at the new stadium up there. Your thoughts? I know you lean more Team Mexico, I believe.
To the Army, yeah, all the way.
For that here, obviously, I know Royce is our U.S. spokesman, and I won't lie, I root for the U.S. as well. For that here, but your expectations on this international break coming up for CONCACAF?
I think with Mexico going in, I think they got to look back with that game when they went into Columbus and took those 3 points. I think if they can set I think they're going to be out they're going to have a chip on their shoulder, especially with those 2 losses they had over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tata's I think he's learned from those games. He's now got the players that he was missing. I think the U.S. is going to have trouble containing Raul Jimenez. He's that forward that he's just too physical to handle, and I don't see anyone in the U.S. defense that can match up with him really well. And like I said, then you have Chucky Lozano back. Gatito's kind of been inconsistent. Hopefully he can get set up. Main thing is if they can come out with points on this, even the tie, it's great. It's a win for them. But I know that they want to get the 3 points, kind of start distancing themselves, because now we're getting to that little stretch. We'll start to see who's in contention and who's not. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I still think Mexico, the U.S., and I think Canada are going to be probably the 3 that do get the automatic verse.
Well, for Mexico, they play the U.S. on the 12th, and then the second game that they play on here is actually against Canada as well. So, and both of them are on the road. Which it seems kind of odd because normally they'll play one home, one away during a cycle, but where this has been 3 games within 3 games within a window. So I guess that's kind of got thrown off a little bit here.
Yeah.
But Canada gets 2 home matches, Mexico gets 2 away matches. I know the United States hosts Mexico and then travels to Jamaica, which, if my memory serves me right, that'll be an empty stadium in Jamaica for that here. So which may or may not make it a little bit easier for the United States, just for the fact that Jamaica is starting to get players back from healthy. And then I think, I think the COVID restrictions are a little bit
right. The Jamaican players that are based in England and in Germany are now allowed to travel, so they will participate. They'll have Mikel Antonio, they'll have Leon Bailey, et cetera, which are definitely their top 11 right now.
It's going to be a tough game for them, but I think, like I said, Jamaica's always played tough on them.
Yep.
But I think the U.S. I think they can get the win. If they can get ahead, they'll win the game. But if they fall behind and they have trouble coming back, especially with Jamaica, I think Jamaica they're like a weird team. They know when to turn it up and not to turn it off. So them, they're pretty unpredictable. But if the U.S. can get ahead, they'll get the 3 points over there in Jamaica.
And I stand corrected. It was originally announced that no fans were going to be allowed. However, I did double check.
There's going to be, I think, 5,000, and they have to be vaccinated
fans. They came out right around Halloween with that adjustment for that. But it was originally no fans, but they did reverse that and are going to allow 5,000, which to me is still. It's still an advantage, for the United States not to have to play, in a hostile environment like Jamaica, where we've had some success, but there's been some struggles as well.
Right.
Royce, good evening.
What's up?
How are you?
Had to go get dinner, man. I'm tired. I started a new job, like 3 weeks ago now, and I have been slammed with work, which is nice. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the new place, but I've been super busy. And then the weekends haven't been, not that I'm complaining, the weekends haven't been much of a respite either. I mean, last weekend with the game on Friday. I'm sure y'all talked about that, and that was awesome.
Yeah, we were saving that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess let's get into it. Hell.
We did the Copa Tejas
Okay.
best 11, which you know, I'm going to send a message to them after this is over saying there should be a bench, Copa Tejas bench. Maybe you don't get the mug and stuff like that, but like the second goalkeeper, you know who would be named outside of
Right.
Logan, and then to me, Lopez from RGV is a deserving spot. You know, as far as in the midfield, but the problem is who you taking out, and that's
Correct.
the issue.
I mean, when I saw it and I didn't see PC and Abu on there, I was like, this is a crime. And then I looked at it, I was like, I get it, but
who you taking out? That's the issue.
That's correct. Who are you taking out? That's correct.
And that's why I think if you had maybe kind of a bench, you know, with, you know, a couple extra that, you know, it gives them the recognition and through there. But just to finish up on the international window here, obviously Rafa, I think, is predicting 6 points from this window or how, you know, what are you predicting?
I mean,
for
if
the
they
US
get
or for Mexico?
If Mexico
For
gets
Mexico.
6 points, shoot.
Well, no, is that what you're predicting?
I'll be spraying tequila all over the game or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mexico will probably get 2 points out of this. The US they might get 2. They'll probably get 4. I see a Mexico-US draw, and then a lot of questions come out of that draw, which I mean, it's per the USMNT.
We're not going to go to fire the coach already, are we?
No, so this is what I was going to go with. USMNT is very that whole culture and everything feels very similar to UT football.
Very
where
toxic is the word.
It's toxic. There's knee-jerk reaction. There's knee-jerk reactions everywhere, and that's kind of how it goes. Is one bad result. Oh, you know, when's Berhalter out? When's Berhalter going to get fired? They come out in the second half of a game that he admits that, hey, you know, I made some assumptions. They didn't go my way. I changed it to the more pragmatic approach, and he's going to learn stuff. I mean, it's his first World Cup qualification. He's going to learn crap.
Is he the Tom Herman of international soccer?
I mean, the Sarkisian of international soccer. I mean, Tom Herman, I guess, would be technically Bruce Arena, but I mean, not even that. Maybe Tom Herman was more Dave Sarakin. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of it's a real knee-jerk reaction, and it comes from, I get it. It comes from Cuba 4 years ago. It comes from that disaster. And I mean, Mexico almost had the same thing in 2014. If it weren't for the US, if it weren't for Zusi, then Mexico would have missed out on the 2014 World Cup. So I mean, both teams have gone through similar issues. And they're kind of in a similar way right now. Mexico with Tata. Tata has a really good pragmatic approach for the players that are available. People crap on him all the time for the approach he brings, but his tactics are good for what he has.
He's got a system, and
the thing that people complain about, and I think this is the thing that Tata Martino has really kind of lost sight of, is how effective Diego Lainez was against the U.S. this summer. And to not bring him up is a huge plus for the U.S. Because of just how unpredictable he is. He's not in good form with club, but he's in good form internationally. So,
well,
and that's kind of a big
the Olympics. I mean, I think for him, I think what he needs to do, especially Lainez, and I think
just retire from international football, or retire from club football and just play international.
No, I think he needs to get. Well, he made a mistake going to Betis, and I think what he needs to do, and get his agent to do, is send him off.
Lainez going to Betis is similar to Reggie Cannon going to
Boa Vista, to go to Ajax and PSV.
Right, or Josh Sargent going to a Norwich. That has not worked out for either. All three of those players have kind of not had a good time. with those loan spells
Yeah, I think if you can go to one of those two teams, or even Porto, or Benfica, I think those are the 4 teams. I think.
Well, Porto, he's going to get blocked by his international teammate Tecatito, so he needs.
Tecatito might be on the move to Italy pretty soon. That's the rumor going around. Yeah. He may go to Roma, or I think Inter's also interested in him. But I think Linus best.
If Tecatito has an option to not go under Jose Mourinho, you take that all day long. Jose Mourinho is dude, avoid no. Like I'm a US fan.
Mourinho's going to be gone.
I support Mexico if they're playing somebody else. I grew up rooting for Luis Hernandez, El Matador, and obviously Jorge Campos is everybody's hero on this continent. But yeah, him going to, already Brian Reynolds, American International, is just having an absolute garbage time at Roma, and it's because Mourinho has picked 11 guys, and he's like, these are the 11 guys. Oh, one's hurt. Well, I'm gonna just run 10 guys out there. Is basically what he said. So it's a disaster, and they suck. They're bad. They're bad because of their players. They're partially bad because of their players. They're mainly bad because Jose Mourinho soccer just doesn't play.
It doesn't work anymore.
Yep. So anyway, sorry, off on that tangent.
Oh, no worries. So moving on, let's get into the loyal. Before we get into the lineups, any thoughts on Landon Donovan's pregame comments and just sort of saying San Antonio is a dirty team? I think he walked right up to that line. He didn't cross it, but he walked right up to that line. Any thoughts on?
I thought New Mexico was a dirty team, not us.
Well, to be fair,
well, I thought it was Rising that was a dirty team against Loyal, if you catch my drift on that one. So, yeah, that whole mess.
I understood what he was trying to say. I just, part of me thinks that.
See, I get what he was trying to say, but at the same time, you don't say that. Just in general, you don't say, hey, this team does this and they're bad because of it. No, you say they're a physical team. They're a very high pressing and physical team, and they use that to their advantage. It's going to be a tough task to go against them. That's what you say. You don't say, oh, they have so many yellow cards. They're obviously a dirty team. Landon, you've been there,
it's
dude.
Not even that. He's like, they don't play. He basically said, we don't play soccer. And that, for, and I even asked this, at the time when I saw that, I was like, it seemed like that San Antonio was already in their head, because they had 2 videos on it. Both videos had that, hey, they foul a lot. They're going to be chippy. You saw that with the PC first yellow. See, we told you, right from the start. And, in pregame, I talked to, one of the, loyal media people, on the sideline there. He even mentioned that they're a finesse team, which there's nothing wrong with it. They play a different style. It doesn't make it, that's the great thing about soccer is, you can play like San Diego does, or you can play like San Antonio does, and you can play like Phoenix does.
We sort of play soccer. We're good at defending and putting the ball in the net on the opponent. Yeah.
Clean sheet and 2 goals in their net. I'd say that's playing soccer pretty well.
We may slide tackle a couple people here and there, but hey, it's just part of the game.
Suck it, deal with it. You're a pro. So, what I would say, just to kind of close it out real quick, just for this whole thing, and this is what we said last week, is that, and we saw it on display, San Diego plays very much like Darren Powell's San Antonio FC. They want to play forward from the middle, and they want to be offensive from the middle, and that was it. That was their doom, because we dominated the middle of the field. And that was pretty much it. They wanted to attack on the wings. And that's why, instead of PC being in the middle, that's why Marcina had PC on the left. And spoiler alert, we're going to see a lot of the very same for RGV if they play similarly that they played Phoenix. And we're going to have PC back out there on the left to dominate that side. And that's what he did. This was PC's game. PC and Mo are the two players of the match. PC shut down any offensive threat, really, that San Diego had. And Abu did the same. Abu shadowed what's his name? Blake, Jack Blake.
Yeah, well, he went out early, but yeah.
He went out early with a cramp, but it was but whenever Jack Blake was there, he shadowed him, and then 11 came in, and then Abu shadowed him. And that's going to be his task. We'll see who RGV start. Well, we'll get into RGV later. We're talking about Loyal right now, but that was pretty much it. I think Abu and PC dominated this match, and they allowed for Gallegos and Maloney constantly to go up, and that was it. And Maloney and Epps had a lot of switches. They're on the right side, and that just we killed Loyal on that right side. So
the lineup: Patino up top, Nathan, Epps, PC, Gallegos, Abu, Maloney, and then the three in the back: Tanner, Kamiri, Ford, and Jordan Farr, the emergency goalkeeper. I don't think we brought the. I think we did discuss that actually.
Yeah, we did.
Where he came in from Indy 11 and wasn't asked to do a lot, but the one time that he did a heck of a job. So
yeah,
they won with his face. That first
time. But at the same time, he was there and in position. It doesn't matter what part of your body you make that save.
Yeah.
If you're in position and you make that save, I mean that was a big play, and for him to get that out of the way, that was a huge confidence booster for him because the back three just, I mean, they were so jacked. It was awesome to have, I guess the back five technically. It was awesome to have them on our side for that second half because they were so jacked up.
It was shut down. Yeah.
Taintor just shut down. That one shot that he blocked, I thought his veins are going to pop out. And then Maloney had a couple huge crosses that he blocked. It was awesome to watch them work. That was well worth the price of admission, just watching those five in the back just completely.
You can see also Jordan really motivated in the game. He was really, he had that defense.
They were in it, man.
He had the defense really organized and, and that's, you got to give props to him for just being plugged in, having really no chemistry with those guys. To do it within 4 or 5 days, that says something what type of player he is. So,
And the scary news is they've got an additional week to be able to communicate, be able to work on a little bit more. I think what stood out to me, and we'll get to the highlights here in a minute here, is his delivering of the ball. Matt does. I think that's a weak part on Matt's game is delivering, but I think with Farr here. It brought another dimension to San Antonio FC that I will say the Loyal was.
I will say his first goal kick found the stands, but after that he was fine. I think that was nerves. That was the first touch he had. He got a punt off and it went directly into section. I think it was a 104, 105. But then after that, everything was fine. Everything was smooth. The distribution was great. They talked well, and that was the main thing. Was I mean, him, Taintor, and Ford and Kamiri, they're just in sync, and that was awesome to watch for sure. That was encouraging.
So let's look at the highlights here, and we'll.
Yeah, I like how they immediately try to go over the top, and not going to happen. All right, I can pause this real quick. This came from a foul on Gallegos. Gallegos won the ball, and he got taken out by their opposite 17, his opposite number for San Diego. It was a pretty obvious foul, and it was basically they pressed. They were pressing early, and Gallegos had a chance to win the ball. He won the ball, and he got tackled. He got body slammed to the ground, basically, because the San Diego player was frustrated that he was getting pressed. And that won that free kick. And then Abu just floats that ball and it just sat there, just magic. And I knew somebody had to attack it. I looked. Nathan was right there, not even marked. Just set piece theater, beautiful. 1-0.
Yeah, hold on here. I'm actually trying to move it over to.
Yep.
Yeah, that pressing that they did basically threw them off.
Yeah,
and you can tell they were real confused. They couldn't run anything there as far as their offense.
their outlet,
their whole system of play.
Yep.
Was thrown out the window, and you got to give props to Marcino for that, because I think he saw something probably on some of the videos of the previous games, and he took advantage of that, and it really affected their psyche in the game, and they started changing players even in the first half. So props to Marcino on that.
Well, the first change was due to injury. Jack Blake did have an injury. That's why that first one happened. But yeah, they subbed at half, and yeah, they were just trying to find something. They were throwing crap at the wall to see what would stick, and nothing stuck, and they just ended up having a crap game. At the same rate, if you watch that highlight, you can see me going absolutely nuts and losing my mind, pointing at Nathan. So that's a fun fact. I keep watching that clip, and I keep seeing myself like, what am I doing? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm losing my damn mind. So,
all right. So I think this is the play you're talking about. Or did I go too far?
You went too far. They don't show the. Yeah, there you go. There's a tackle right there.
There it is. I was right there.
And there's Jose winning, and right here's the body slam. And it already happened. The ref had already called it. And 17 on their side. Martin is incredulous to how body slamming can be a foul. So, and right there. Yeah, I mean, 2 hands pushing over. What are you doing? So, yep. And then just this gorgeously floated ball by Mo.
Some dirty tactics on Donovan's team.
Yeah, there you go. Yep,
right,
it was fun. Yep. And then madness ensued. Just the perfect service.
That ball just floated, though, as you mentioned.
Yeah, just floated. It just stayed there. And Nathan,
you see that little spin towards the end before it hit Nathan? You got to get props to Mo on that.
It's just a hell of a service, man. Yep. That's it. It's a great service.
Come on, get to the replay.
That looks fine.
Yeah, supporters did a great job this game.
They did. I was happy.
Awesome pregame and through their
here
we go. Here's the replay.
Great. Yep. So it just sits there, just floats, and nobody marked Nathan at all. Nobody, and it just found him.
I wonder if the keeper anticipated see how it was curving and then it kind of stopped. I wonder if the
Coutinho was open too. If it had been a little bit shorter, both of them
on that spin, you noticed like it was going towards the goal, and I think the keeper I'm going to catch this, but then it cut back in.
Go with me here.
Got the header in.
Go with me here. If you go back through the season, and this is me recollecting just based off of memory, most of San Antonio FC's set pieces, especially corner kicks, have been far post, head it back over, and then attack that second ball. That's what almost exclusively we have done. And it seemed like that's what they were getting geared up for. That's why it took them by surprise that Patino and Nathan made that short side run, and all the center backs are going to the back post. So I think they were expecting a floating ball to the back post because that's where Montgomery was. That's where Yara was. They were on the back post. They're expecting a back post to be headed across. It was a short post ball that just floated that Nathan attacked, and I think they just got their, they got their situation wrong. They did not expect us to play a near post set piece, which is a long con from Marcina to go far post, far post, far post, and then once you hit the playoffs, hey, let's try near post for once. So there you go, winner, 1-0.
All right. Sorry, I had to reset.
You're good. I know. I see you playing the video and it's just not cooperating.
Well, no, I was trying to pull it back up over here.
Okay.
This play here. Let's back up here. I thought this play was a close one here, where good team offense here.
Yep, it's good press. And then Patino got knocked down there. And then this is where Nathan goes. It gets saved with the left-footed shot with the left hand by their goalkeeper. Yeah. Honestly, if that's low, that's probably in. But that's just one of those. But on the ensuing corner, Patino with his first goal since June, May. It was great to see him back and to see him have that comeback. I mean, this season has been a slog for him and it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
And to see him get a goal in the playoffs, it's huge. In Taintor, see, and that's what we have typically done right there. And that's where I think that first goal also set up this goal. Was if you look, most of the San Diego Loyal defense is by the near post, and they're expecting a near post shot, and it goes over everybody back to Taintor, who was by himself. But that is what we've done most of the season, and this time it worked because we stopped just exclusively doing that. We did the near post. We had them thinking. They're thinking near post. It goes far post. Taintor to come back in, and Patino puts it in 2-0. 2-0, as Rafa just kept saying it the entire game, and I'm like, dude, shut up.
We're like,
2-0. 2-0 is the worst lead, is the most in danger lead in all of sports, and Rafa's gonna start 2-0 before halftime. I was like, shut up.
I will say though, is I talked with I sent a message to Alan with Fairweather Pod, and we had talked pregame that whoever got the first goal was most likely going to win.
We talked about that on the.
And if a team got up by 2, he's like, it was
Church.
And that ended up playing out here.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the highlights here is it'll go through this play here. Although there's one more play that I'm surprised that isn't on the play here.
Yeah, that's the big save right there from Jordan, where
he gets up with nothing, like it didn't even hit him.
Nope. It was straight to the face.
This is what we've been asking for all year.
Yep.
Put it out
and
to
Patino
DC.
just missed that. If he needs to do the John Anthony oh my God. John Anthony, help me out. Center back for the US, and he also plays for Wolfsburg.
If it hits that one low, it's
What's his
in.
name?
Brooks?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Brooks, thank you. John Anthony Brooks. If he does a John Anthony Brooks in the 2014 World Cup against Ghana and just buries that thing into the ground and has it bounce up, it's 3-0 easily. But it just caught him on the back of his head and went over. And then is the Taintor play, which is not even a minute later, which is insane.
Yeah, the highlights were brought to us by USL, San Antonio FC, and on YouTube.
ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus.
Thank you.
Just make sure I give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
For that here. This video clip is by SAFC Twitter. For it here, and I thought this was just as pivotal as the save by far, because if San Diego gets a goal, I think it's a different game. For that here, if they get an immediate answer here.
Yeah, that was nuts, man. That was so close to a dang goal. It was just a hell of a play. And like Hankinson on the commentary said, it's such a brave and huge move, because Taintor does have 2 own goals on his stat sheet this season, and for him to still go in like that and to make that play, balls of damn steel, for sure.
And like I said, to me, it as I mentioned earlier, it changed the game. It put it more because San Antonio FC was able to kind of settle down, get to the half, and I think it was what the 62nd minute they subbed out they subbed in Gleedle, subbed out Patino. I think is the one that came out.
I believe so.
It was a 62nd minute,
Mhm.
and then went to a 5-back lineup. And just wrote it out. And when you look at the stats,
and then a little later on, they switched out Nathan for Dylan, which really helped them be more physical up top. That really allowed them to play the 5-4-1 that they finished out with.
Yeah, and they only made the 2 subs.
Yep.
62nd, Gleedle came in for Patino, and in 75th minute, Dylan for Nathan. And the second half, I would say, was 70-30, 70.2 to 29.8 possession. At halftime, it was closer to 60-40, a little bit closer to that. But San Antonio let them said, hey, you want to pass the ball, which they did 531 times to our 226. And
go ahead.
But yet,
sit back.
And this is the thing that I think Landon missed when he was talking to his team, is San Diego with all that possession had 14 shots, 1 on target,
and that one was the one that was saved by Taintor. That's it. That's all. That's the only shot on goal they had all night. That one.
And for San Antonio FC, we had 11. So even though we had the ball for 30% round, just rounding up, shot wise, we were pretty much equal. 3 shots on target, obviously 2 of them being the goals. For that here, but
and the other one was the one we just saw saved right there by Nathan with the left-footed shot. That's it. Yeah,
there was one on the second half that Montgomery missed.
We're just going on stat sheets, man. And stat sheets just have that one.
That was the only really, as far as any possible goal scoring opportunities. It's just on that one piece, and that was it.
This is Marcino ball. Let's create more chances, more quality chances than the other team, and that's what they did. I know San Diego came in hurt. One of their main threats out on the wings.
Corey Herzog, yeah.
Well, not Herzog. Was it Metcalf? Has a broken collarbone.
Herzog was out too, injured as well. So
well, I mean, that's huge too. Herzog has been a USL stalwart for seasons. So yeah, I mean, they didn't come in the best of form. Yarrow probably shouldn't have played, but it was a playoff game, so he did. I know he's been hurt, which it was great to see.
He did well.
I didn't get the shout out Callum. I didn't get the shout out Yarrow, but it was good to see them. I'm happy they're still in the league, for sure. But as it was, 2-0, you can't complain. It was a great game. I can't tell you how nervous I was until that Nathan goal, and it was great. And the best part about it,
nervous though.
I was nervous, dude. I was a damn mess. But
I didn't feel.
I wasn't nervous. Like, okay, I should explain myself. I wasn't nervous. Like, I wasn't afraid we were gonna lose. I was nervous. Like I was gonna play. I had those jitters. I had those nerves. Every time I go up to plate and I'm gonna face a pitcher, that's what keeps you in it. Is you get that heightened, you get that adrenaline rush, you get that, okay, let's go, we're gonna see this, and it's tough to calm yourself down. And that's what makes the great ones great, is because they can calm themselves down. But that's what I felt. I just felt that adrenaline, that let's go, it's game time, that I rarely feel during the regular season. But when it comes to playoffs, it's a whole other beast, and that's what I felt. And when Nathan's goal went in, I was a little reassured, and they played so damn well.
Were you more worried about what happened last year, losing on a cheap goal?
That's correct. That's correct.
That's what always digs us in, is on a cheap goal, or a referee misses a call.
And it didn't help with the very first foul called was a yellow card for PC. That was, I mean, the first foul of the game. It wasn't even. Yes, it was from behind. Sure. Did he get the ball? Yeah, that too. He got the ball and it was from behind. Like, and yeah, and it was the very first foul, and you're going to give a yellow card like that. I was just like, Is this the same guy from the New Mexico United game that gave out 17 yellows? But did I have to poop? No. Pre-game jitters. It's not pre-game jitters, man. It's just the adrenaline rush of
the
game day. Yeah, it's the excitement of being in a game, and that's pretty much it. But
I do think if that game goes 0-0 to half, we're having a different discussion.
I mean, if some butts are candy and nuts, it's Christmas every day.
But no, because we said going in, San Antonio needed to
no,
score.
for sure. If San Diego Loyal would have scored the first goal, then it would have definitely been a different game, and they would have tried to slog down, and it would have been really tough. But at the same time, our 2 goals came off of set pieces that came directly. Well, one came off of a do or die save from their goalkeeper, and the other came off of a foul. And that foul could have happened whether we had the lead or not, or it was tied or not. So I think we played great. We created a lot of real quality chances. We didn't put a lot of them away, but the ones we did put away, we put away really well. And I was happy with the win. And then we got to watch El Paso later that night, and they didn't do so well.
They did not. They ended up losing 1-0 to Oakland.
So the Roots, shout out to Chewy and Kai Green.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that's the upset, of the playoffs. I think our opponent coming up, RGV upsetting Phoenix is.
Yeah.
I think that's on par, because. Both RGV and Phoenix both had undefeated streaks at home. I won't lie to you. I've had
El Paso and Phoenix were both undefeated at home this season.
Yes,
not RGV.
Or pardon me, Phoenix and El Paso. But El Paso couldn't finish. They had some chances, although Oakland did have some chances as well.
El Paso got San Antonio FC from last season. That's basically what happened, except that the Roots goal happened to actually be a legit goal, and it was really well taken. But yeah, no, they got last year SAFC is what El Paso got. That was it. They went in nervous. SAFC went in nervous. They played nervous. And I mean that was the result. And El Paso just seemed like they were just nervous the whole time. I know the camera kept panning over to Mark Laurie on the bench, and he was just chewing the shit out of his fingernails. So I just think as a club, they were nervous. Last year, SAFC, I think it was just bad luck. Doyle had a goal early on in that match, and it got disallowed for unknown reasons. So that's kind of how that game started. RGV and Phoenix was an amazing watch.
That was a thrill.
It was a thrilling game. And to be honest, that last minute game tying penalty from RGV.
I don't want to hear it though. I do not want to hear it.
It's not a penalty Phoenix. For me. No, you know what?
It's a soft penalty.
It's super soft.
Super soft.
Yeah.
But
normally you wouldn't count that in an overtime game. That's a little surprising, but
that's what I'm getting at, is that you're going to change the game over something that ticky-tack. Okay, sure. But what I think the ref was like, you know what's going to happen is I'm not going to allow this, and I'm going to hear it. I'm going to give RGV the chance to tie it because it is a borderline foul. I'm going to give them a chance to do it. And if they can't, if they don't do it, then cool, ball don't lie. But if they get it, then we'll go to pins and they'll decide it in pins.
Here's my only issue with that. How many times have we seen Solo
fall
down on that same thing? And let's not forget who drew the foul. It's 41-year-old Vicente Sanchez.
I know.
Harry, who knows all the tricks that Solo does.
Harry, I'm not arguing, man. I'm not arguing.
I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
It was a shit penalty.
It's one of those PKs that
I know,
if it's on your team,
I know.
But the one thing
you love it. If it's against your team, you hate it.
But you're Phoenix. You don't put yourself in that situation.
That's the key.
That's the thing. That's the
thing.
Phoenix should have stomped a mud hole on the Toros.
Yeah. You don't let a team
like that. You go for the kill early on because they basically let them hang around.
Yep.
And you let a team hang around, things like that could happen, and it's going to end up biting you in the ass.
Yep.
So only the one to blame is Phoenix for not, stomping on them like 4 or 5 nothing.
That's
like
pretty much it. And it's the same thing for
same thing with El Paso too.
Yeah.
They played basically an upstart team that just barely got into the playoffs. They should have stuck a mud hole on them, but when you let teams hang around, and that's something what we were kind of worried about. If we let Loyal hang around,
yep, and that was a problem with SAFC.
The game. Yeah.
That was a problem with SAFC last season. They let New Mexico hang around too long. They got disallowed a goal. Yeah, shit happens. Go out there, make another chance, put that away, and they didn't. And that was on SAFC. Now the game-winning goal came from a crap no call, which was incredible. But hey, I mean, that happens, and it happened to Phoenix, and it happened to El Paso, and now we move on and we play RGV.
The other craziness out in the West, Orange County.
Red card. Early red card.
30th minute red card, down a man. And sigh that's the collective sigh from anybody from Colorado right there. The Switchbacks just couldn't, and OC's been tough. They've, I think, won 6 straight matches, 1-0, so their defense is tied in. Yeah. Their interim coach was just signed, for
permanent deal.
Officially.
Yep.
They're going to be a tough out, going against Oakland. However, they have one center back on their roster now, because the dude with the red card obviously is obviously going to get suspended. Yeah. They had another center back that would replace somebody's on a U20 team, playing. Probably tonight. I think he's with the U.S. Or Mexico. I forget which team that he's on.
Okay.
But he's out. So Orange County, they have no center back. So
that's crazy.
That'll be interesting to see how they match up with Oakland. Out east, I'm going to start at the bottom of the bracket. Lou City.
I mean, honestly, what can you say about the East is everything went the way you thought it would go, except the whole Pittsburgh getting COVID. But Lou City, it wasn't convincing, but at the same time, Miami
got the job done.
Miami got frustrated. Miami should have had a straight red in like the 70th minute.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't have been that close. But they took care of business. They did what they should have done, and they dispatched Miami.
And Miami also had an emergency goalkeeper, so one in the East, one in the West.
Yeah.
Charlotte, even though they don't play their players, last year
was a dominant
rolled Memphis. Not
absolutely.
Surprising. The Rowdies.
They even missed a penalty in that game.
The Rowdies just played with Tulsa.
It was close. I think it was 2-2 at one point, and then I looked up and it was 4-2, and I was like, oh, okay, then that's done.
Well, in extra time, I think there was 3 goals. It was just like they're like, hey, okay, you want to score?
They got tired of playing around. They got serious.
Pretty much.
And the unfortunate news, and this came out Friday as well, is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, unfortunately,
Riverhounds are eaten up with COVID. And if the report is to be believed, it all stemmed from a Halloween party. That's so disappointing. If that report is to be believed, I'm not 100% sure on it, but it did seem to go. I know it went around Reddit and it went around Twitter like wildfire. But
I will also say, and this wasn't discussed here, if you look at the timing wise, the trip down to Miami would have lined up as well. So I'm just gonna say that extra trip. Yeah.
Somebody could have gotten it. Somebody could have gotten it from that trip and then spread it through that party. So not great.
That's.
I hope, but I will say, I hope everybody on the Pittsburgh team and staff and office and everybody, I hope you're okay.
And it's, to me, that the worst part about it is for the fans, for the Riverhounds fans, but they went toe to toe with San Antonio. They came here, got a late goal at the end. They were thinking that they had a chance. They've beat Tampa Bay before, so they knew each other. Legion was going to have a packed house, their first playoff game at home. I believe it's their first playoff game at home. Unfortunately, didn't happen. They
Nope.
get to do a watch party because they're playing in Tampa at this point. So
Yep.
I know the Legion move on, but there really was no winners, unfortunately, in that situation. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, there's nothing that the USL could have done because if
I agree.
If there is that situation, we saw it with San Antonio 10 days.
Yeah.
You can't put the playoffs on hold. So that they had no choice. As much as rising fans and rowdy fans are like, hey, reschedule. First round of playoffs, you can't do it. You're especially with the final
Right.
being on ESPN, it just
Yep.
was out of hands. For that here. So moving on in the East, you're going to have on the 13th. So all these matches will be Saturday. It kicks on Tampa Bay hosting Birmingham. Followed
These times are all Eastern, by the way.
all Eastern, so 6:00 our time. Charlotte, Louisville at 6:30 in Louisville for that here, and that'll be an interesting game.
That'll be fair. I think that's going to be the.
I
match
think
of the
Charlotte
night,
gets the
honestly.
win personally.
We'll see.
Rowdies, Birmingham. It's tough to go against the Rowdies.
It is.
They're flying high right now.
A damn juggernaut. Yep.
But if San Antonio can make it, the Legion is an easier drive to get to than Tampa Bay.
I was gonna say. I mean, I'm. Don't get ahead of yourself. We play RGV.
Yes.
That's the next match. We play RGV at 8
RGV's
o'clock.
next.
Home Alabama.
Don't even get ahead of yourself.
The other side of the bracket, Oakland OC. That one's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a 1-0 match because both teams are very good defensively.
It's fun. It's funny how all these matches ended up being kind of region matches. We have the Battle of California, we have the Battle of Texas, we have the Battle of the Northeast, and the Battle of the Southeast. So
no,
I mean, Tampa and Birmingham that's kind of SEC country, and then Louisville and Charlotte are. I mean, technically, kind of in the Northeast, but they don't count themselves as Northeast. But it is what it is.
It's ACC country.
but you got
Yeah,
top
ACC.
four. You got
That's
top
fair.
4 seeds.
That's fair.
It's weird. You got the top 4 seeds out east. It's chalk.
Yeah.
It's boring, as I called it. It's outside the results.
And then you have the
there's no
2s and the
surprises.
4s. Yeah,
And then in the West, where the simulation is, all hell broke loose. So
Yeah. pretty much.
The big match that we're going to talk about next, San Antonio, RGV, Toyota Field, Stampede are coming. From my understanding, with Edson, that they're expecting about 200 to 300 people, not all Stampede, but from there's going to be a large RGV presence. I won't get into the drama on the supporter group, but unfortunately for this match, the RGV supporters are going to be on the other side over by
Thousand Oaks and 35.
Thousand Oaks and the freeway over there.
Or Wurzbach Parkway. Wurzbach Parkway. and
Wurzbach
Thousand Oaks,
Parkway.
yeah.
And we're going to be over, obviously, in our normal
The
spot.
normal spot under the bridge.
Which makes it a little bit challenging to go chit-chat. I'm going to try, but, I've been told that security
It's
is going
better
to be very
you
high
don't.
for this
Yeah,
match.
and we'll say this on the show. Don't even try to go to the RGV side if you're not with the RGV team. Just it's not worth it for a lot of reasons. The number one reason is if you want to go to the match, don't try to go on that side. Just trust us. Don't.
Just
Don't.
Just don't. And
They're separating things just to prevent anything. Not to say it's going to happen, but it's all prevention. Just comply. Just comply with that.
Don't do
Simply.
anything stupid.
Don't.
Just
Yeah.
don't be that guy.
Also, don't do it. Yeah. Don't be that guy. Don't be anything stupid.
Don't be that guy that pull your pants down.
After the
I
match,
thought that was funny, dude. It was
Yeah.
after the match, whatever happens, get in your car, go home.
Go
And
meet a bar
then-
somewhere off of the
Yeah.
off
Go,
of the area.
yeah, exactly. Let's not fighting. Fighting is never worth it. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's
Go get
bad.
your taco at Marma Margie's and then go home.
There you see Mama Margie's or Chachos, wherever you want to go, and go chill out over there. There you go.
So there is some news. RGV has been on a roll recently. However, RGV is also going to be missing some key pieces.
Yep.
For that here, Christian Sorto got the call up to play first country. So, congratulations.
Congrats. Yeah, that's huge, man.
A
For
great
El Salvador, right?
Yes.
Or Honduras.
Hold on, I can tell you.
Crap. Yeah.
One of those, probably one of those two.
I'll look it up. You keep going.
And then they also had a loanee in from.
He's El Salvadorian. That's what I thought. Sorry.
They had a loanee from Cincinnati, but he did not meet the minimum requirements for games and time frame due to coming in. So even though he was a big spark for them late in the year, up top as a forward, he is Jonas Freiberg. Yeah, Jonas Freiberg.
His deal was completed and he's back with Cincinnati
because he was ineligible to play. So
yep.
RGV, San Antonio, you can throw records, lineups, everything out the window.
That's it. Throw it out the window. It's a rivalry game, baby. And it's the biggest rivalry game we've ever had. And it's going to be fun as hell. I'm going to be nervous as hell, but it's going to be fun.
6 draws, 6 wins for RGV. I will say, because I did a little bit of research on here, because I was trying to see how our lineups would match. And RGV has quite a bit of changes. But I think the biggest change for us is the lineups that RGV's used to seeing us with. Kamiri and Varela have been probably the two most that are still on the team. But we ran 4 back twice. Maloney, Axel, Gleedle, and Kamiri.
We played a 4-4-2 twice against them. And the last time we played them was before we settled on the current 3-4-3. And that's going to be interesting to see. And I will say that RGV against Phoenix really, really tried to attack up their right side. That was their main attacking outlet. And that's where PC is going to be. And that's what I said. Kind of the Loyal kind of did a similar thing. They really wanted to attack up that right side with Blake and can't think of the right winger's name out there. And they ran into a brick wall out there.
Was Tanner and Ford already in the team? Did they go in to play?
I don't think so. That's what I mean. I don't think we had Ford. I don't think we had Tantor.
They did not know. They have not seen this lineup here.
Okay.
And that's why
that's
I think
going to be a big factor.
And Abu is another player that I don't think they've seen.
No, they had Abu because
did they? Okay,
yeah, we had Abu, but the problem is PC
he hadn't
played 12 minutes in the May 29th match.
That's right. That's right. That was his first game back, and he got hurt. Yeah, that's right.
But Abu played in the August 8th 2-1 win. So Nathan, Epps, Abu, Jose, Maloney, and Kamiri are the 6 starters from that match that will most likely be starting. So there's going to be 5. And I know Matt's one of them, and that's unfortunate, because Matt's not there. Because if he was here, he would be. But as far as for on the field, they haven't seen our defense, and our defense is a different level of defense compared to what they are seeing. And
it's because we have more speed. And that's what it hurt. I think that's what hurt us those first 2 games.
It's speed and aggressiveness. Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot there. It's just a quality.
Ford and Tanner are basically shut down defenders.
Yeah.
And they have not seen that.
Well, yeah, Kamiri, all 3 of them are. Right?
Yeah.
And then you see Kamiri, like I said, complements the 3 basically quote unquote the Bermuda Triangle. They're not gonna let anything in there. And another thing, now having a healthy PC on the outside, like Royce mentioned on the outside wing, they're going to have
Maloney because Maloney didn't play.
Yeah.
Maloney only played the last game against them. And even up top, Nathan's played 3 of them. Patino played 2 of them. Jose only played 1 of them. So they have not seen this, and we knew this coming in. But it just illustrates, when you say, hey, you play a team 4 times, when you really look at the 2 teams here, they're basically almost 2 new teams, because to be fair for RGV, they've got 4 or 5 new starters that we haven't also faced. Now, I think there's a big difference from the talent that we brought in compared to the talent that they have now. That could be just me being, homer vision. But I think that...
But our guys have made more. The people we brought in have made more of an impact, I think, than the ones they brought in.
Right.
Because remember, they were sitting on top of the division for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they've kind of taken that nosedive. And us, we struggled in the beginning, but then we took that turn, and finishing in the top two, being in second place. So, we did go in two different directions.
Yep.
But I think the key players that we brought in really made the difference, and theirs hasn't really made that much. It's kept them afloat to get into the playoffs, but I think ours.
I was going to say they beat Rising. I'd say that they're the players that they've added.
But here's the thing:
they beat Rising, El Paso, and New Mexico United. So, which, if you look at their form coming down the stretch, they're playing just as well as we are.
They're hot. Yep.
And this game coming in, when you beat like a top team, you have adrenaline, but that can also come back and haunt you because you're already set a high expectation to, okay, well, we beat these guys. We're expected to win this game. Because we're in that hot streak. And I think San Antonio needs to kind of bring them down back to earth and score early on them. And if we do get a lead,
once again, whoever scores early, that's probably who's going to win.
On them, we'll put doubt on their head, and maybe they'll start, be the old kind of old RGV.
I think in this game though, it can't just be. It's not that first goal because unless both teams really get defensively, which could happen. We both have seen it. San Antonio's allowed RGV back in the game. RGV's allowed us back in the game. A 1-goal lead isn't safe. Hell, you could argue 2 goals is, based on the history here, right for the other team to come back. To me, it's who's going to, to me, it's can San Antonio not make that silly mistake, and they haven't made that silly mistake here in the last few games. Because if they play their game and they play defensive strong like they have, I don't see RGV beating them. I don't. I just think the talent that we have is just at a different level compared to what RGV has, and I don't mean that as a disrespect to RGV. I just think with the MLS talent that we have on this team, and let's not kid ourselves, every position, and I'd have to check if FAR is been on an MLS team. Every starter that we've had has played for MLS teams, and I don't think you can say that for RGV, even though they were under the Dynamo. But that's a different discussion.
But also, you got Wilmer Cabrera out there coaching them, and he's a in USL, he's a top quality manager.
Veteran.
But what I will say, as far as gameplay and the kind of things to watch out for in this match, RGV scored first in that Phoenix game, and that kind of set the table. And Phoenix came back, and they tied it up with Asante, and then RGV got the lead again, and then Phoenix came back. And then Phoenix took the lead, and then RGV. So it was a back and forth match, but it started with RGV scoring first and then scoring more.
Well, RGV scored first. Rising scored the next 2.
Oh, they did score next 2.
Yeah,
okay.
the next 2, and then
there was that free
Rodrigo
kick.
Lopez.
Yeah, that free kick.
That
tied
free
it.
kick
That's right.
That was just a beauty.
It
tied it up.
The same thing with Asante on the other side.
Asante got the goal on the 101st, and then in the 109th,
Asante goal,
and then the PK from Emma.
The PK, yeah, we'll call it the PK, but it was all started with RGV scoring first. And I will say that Phoenix Rising, especially in this match, they were not strong in the back at all. They looked pretty disorganized in the back. Their midfield looked strong, and they really took it to RGV, but RGV shut them down. But when RGV countered, Phoenix really didn't have a lot, and they were they had a foul. And when they fouled, that's when they gave stuff up. They gave up the PK, they gave up the free kick. If SAFC sits back and like we were talking about, is if SAFC scores first and they can sit back and then they can counter and get another one, and if we have a similar setup, kind of like against the Loyal, could be church. But at the same time, this matchup's always been physical, so that could really take that could be a huge factor, is physicality. I know we have a few red cards. I know Amo and a couple of the others RGV players have red cards, so that could definitely be a wrench inside the gear for either team. And they're both obviously going to come in hyped up for this match, so it'll be interesting. It'll be exciting, and I think this is the match of the night. Is going to be RGV and SAFC, not just because it's the South Texas Derby, not just because it's the second round playoff match. It's just going to be a heck of a match. It's going to be must-see TV for sure.
And I'll say this because, and if reports are true, that's from Edson and from the people that I talked to down in RGV, it's going to be a fun crowd. It's I don't know if Toyota Field, at least in a very long time, has had a crowd where there's actually been an away team that's had
an away presence
that RGV is going to bring. And I do expect Toyota Field will be, they have 7,000 listed here. I would expect that you're probably going to get closer, probably to 7,500.
Probably sell out, close to a sellout, 8,000 plus. Yeah.
Because UTSA does play at 2:30.
2:30. Yeah.
So you figure a 4-hour game, 6:30, 7-ish by the time you get out of there. Maybe a late arriving, if you're trying to do the double dip, going to the UTSA at the Alamo Dome and then going up 281 to, I think it's 281, right?
It's 37 to 281.
37.
Yeah. Well, no, you would take 281 to 37, and then you would go to 35. Yeah. You would go 37 to 35, and then it's off 35 and Thousand Oaks.
So, but unless you go to,
we've seen a rabid crowd before when Pumas came.
Could do that,
and as far as an opponent, so I'm sure SAFC is kind of used.
It still baffles me that their main crying cheer is a food brand. That just kind of baffled me. But hey, is what it is. Wasn't it Pumas that was saying Goya, right?
Goya, kachun, kachun, rara. It's actually from a show. It was a sitcom in the 80s. That's where they got the chant from.
I guess however you get it, man. However you get it, you get there. We got Gato Blanco, which apparently is Gato Negro now, so that's fun.
Yes, I saw another one.
Is that an omen or?
there is man. It's blacked out already.
Yeah, we're blacking out.
Black cat that came out on the Cowboys Giants game a few years ago.
It's the mascot. The Cardinals won a World Series after they had a squirrel run across their field. So could be.
So depending on what happens in the other game, Orange County wins, RGV or San Antonio travels to there.
Mm-hmm.
If the Roots win, no matter who wins us, we would host either us or RGV would host
Texas. Texas will host the Roots, or OC will host Texas. Yeah.
And if you're in the state of Texas, this is the only playoff soccer that you're going to be able to watch.
That's it,
Same
baby.
in California as well, actually. So
yeah.
So if you're in California and you want to watch playoffs, come watch Orange County.
If you like postseason soccer, it's in San Antonio, Texas. Come on.
So the other big news happened officially yesterday. There is a new addition to the league. Detroit City, Todd's first love.
I know. I'm surprised we didn't have part owner of said club.
Minority owner.
Hey, I'm a part owner. I won't. I got my flag in the back.
Yo,
conflict of interest.
Yes, I have a major conflict of interest, but
it is the Eastern Conference. As an earlier conflict.
We'll see.
We got to see how they draw the lines. But
I was going to say St. Louis was in the West for some reason for a while. So we'll see.
Nashville's in the West for MLS, so there is that.
Stupid. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? Nashville and Detroit are in the West in hockey. So
Yes.
There's that too. So good times.
Thoughts on Detroit City and what that brings, and I love it just because I've already seen Northern Guard and DCFC supporters going with it with Rising, and
There's so much
it's a
crap
shit show. And
there's so much crap being talked online. It's hilarious. Rafa, you go first, man.
I think it's exciting. I mean, I think Michigan, the state of Michigan's been looking for having a pro soccer team, because I know Detroit was just seriously looked at as an possible MLS, but that hasn't gone through. So I think this is a good first step for them. So I'm happy to have them on the league. And like I said, it's a fun, they're a fun team. I know they had a lot of success, in the previous league they were in. So kudos, especially now, like I said, we're losing some two teams, but hey, we're getting a good quality team that has a good fan base.
Good culture. Yeah, for sure.
So kudos to them.
I'm excited, man. I've always admired Detroit City FC and what they have built over there, regardless of what league they've been in, NISA or whatever league they've been in. It's awesome to watch, and I'm happy they're joining us in the championship. I know there's, people are coming up with receipts or whatever. I don't give a crap about that, man. They're trying to survive. I'm excited. I hope it would be cool if we got an away match. Don't really have a lot of desire to go to Detroit, but I would fly to Detroit to go watch SAFC at Detroit City.
That'd
be great.
Yeah,
I would love it. It's a destination team, for sure. And like you said, we're losing some teams. Obviously, we're losing Charlotte, Austin Bold. We're losing some 2 teams. Man, you can't do much better than to acquire DCFC as a team in your league, especially if you're trying to maintain a footprint like USL Championship is. Yeah, that is a feather in the hat right there. And you got to be excited. They're automatically one of the top teams in the league, period. Haven't even played a game.
What I'm excited about is there's a San Antonio connection. There's 3 players that are either that have played or haven't played with San Antonio, but have you got
one
Maxi
has.
Rodriguez.
Maxi has, yeah.
Armando Quezada, a goalkeeper. I don't think he really made any appearances, but I
don't think so. But he was on the roster.
He was on the roster, and then a guy that I kept hoping that they would bring in, Pato Batalo, I think, for that here. Interesting fact: Maxi Rodriguez has 8 goals on the year.
Yeah, and he scored the championship clinching penalty.
Yep. So,
and also, I mean, not to stray away from this, but Ethan Bryant had a hell of a season with Richmond as well.
Yes.
So exciting to see, and I've also seen a lot of San Antonio FC academy kids signing a lot of national letters of intent recently, and that's exciting.
Today,
It's exciting how successful that academy's been, because they are just filling professional soccer on all levels as well as college soccer. And man, that's great. You can tell how quality of a team and how quality of a
well, they're playing that national
system. Yeah, and they also made the playoffs. We're the only USL team to make the playoffs in the academy as well as in the USL Championship playoffs. It's great. Flipping killing it. Yep.
So I'm excited. I know there's drama. I know it's not a good look for NISA, and NISA, you got to be better on your side.
Yeah, NISA. Yeah, what Pony said was exactly right. You're not breaking up with me. I'm breaking up with you. You can't quit. You're fired. So yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they did. So not great. Not great.
It was just I think NISA serves a purpose, and I hope success, but they are showing some cracks, and that's the problem with quote unquote the independent through there. If you don't have a strong league front office,
right,
this is what happens. And
pretty much,
especially where USL's moving closer to ProRel at a quicker pace. There's going to be a vote in December. It's already been on record for that here. So
yeah, so cool.
Any final thoughts? I know we're about an hour and a half. I know we kind of started a little bit slow with trying to let Royce get dinner for the family.
That's my bad. I had to get food, and then the place I decided on just took forever. And then I got in and I dropped the food off. I haven't even eaten yet. So Rafa, your thought?
My thought as far as I think face, I guess, quote unquote, face of the fan of SAFC. I think we're all face of the fans of SAFC, not just certain areas or certain people.
One or two individuals.
One or two individuals that say they're the face of the fans, but they're not. Like I said, loyalty is a big thing. I think, when it comes to soccer, and that's why I admire a lot of Detroit City FC's fans. They're there through all the games, even friendly games. That's the kind of the staple that we need to have here at our club. And hopefully, like I said, after this season, we learn from this and we get a bigger of a presence because our team really deserves it.
Absolutely.
And like I said, especially this Saturday, we need to pack the house. We don't need any RGV fans out chanting us, out yelling at us, making more noise. The one that should be drowning out their noise should be the SAFC fans, period. This whole stadium. Like I said, blackout part 2, that's what we need.
Let's do it.
So if you haven't bought your ticket, go get your ticket.
They're going fast.
They're going fast, so buy it. And if we win, hey, we get to the Western Conference final. Hopefully, maybe we'll cheer on for the Roots, and we'll get to host another game.
I have receipts from a certain somebody that if they make the Western Conference final, I'll just leave that little hint right now.
So let's pack the house. So that's my final thought. And
your final thought, Royce?
My final thought, obviously pack the house. Hashtag pack the house. Hashtag blackout Toyota Field. Let's go. This is it. Saturday. This is it. My final thought, though, is going to be a big shout out to Jordan Farr, emergency goalkeeper for SAFC. On Twitter earlier, San Antonio FC from their main account put out a tweet showing there's an SAFC fan at the game last Friday that spoke with Jordan and just asked him, hey, can you give my brother a shout out? He just had brain surgery. He's kind of going through a lot. And Jordan followed up on him. Dude is class. Dude is absolutely class. And Indy 11, you guys got a great one. So shout out to Jordan for that. And what a dude, what a human being, and what a great story. And that only makes me more excited about Saturday. So let's go 8:00 at the same time. Birds up at 2:30, and then blackout Toyota Field at 8. Let's go. Big day for San Antonio sports. That doesn't have anything to do with basketball, but big day for San Antonio sports for sure. Huge.
So my final thought, I got 2 of them. One's kind of an odd story. And for people that are old like me, Tanya Harding part 2, PSG women's midfielder was Amito Diallo was taken into custody following an attack on the club's player. She hired a masked man to injure France and her teammate, Kiara Hamari, and I'm sorry if
I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah, I heard about this today.
What?
And to remove her from competition for playing time. So yes, I'll send you the thing here. But yes, PSG women, player, teammate on teammate crime, trying to take out so that way she can get higher playing time. That is your news of the weird.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
And PSG is not a small club, so these are quality playing, talented women that, going back to Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, back at that time frame.
Did she get the boyfriend to do it, or?
I don't know. She hired masked men. Of course, this just broke this morning, and
her career's done. I'm sorry, her career's done.
So there is that. I'm sorry, that had to be brought up because for us, in the United States, that was a huge sports story to start out, and then it turned into a national story, and Lifetime. I think there's 2 or 3 Lifetime movies, and it's oh my goodness. But the other thing here, whether you're from RGV coming up, whether you're San Antonio FC supporters, no matter the result of the game, treat each other kind. Like I said, during that 90 minutes, we know it's going to be a physical game. We know there's going to be calls that go both ways. We know, unfortunately, one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. That it's going to happen this game. There is no way to walk out as a tie. For that here, but please be smart. Please have fun. Please treat each other with respect. You can banter back and forth, but don't cross that line and be an asshole.
That's it.
Just don't. A lot of us are friends. A lot of us communicate through social media. I've met Edson and Ray and stuff like that. They're great people, just like us. They just root for a team that's different, and that's their home team. But please, be smart. Even if you get a little adult beverages in you, don't ruin it, because that's the last thing that San Antonio FC wants. That's the last thing that RGV wants. It's the last thing USL wants. And that's the last thing that any of the supporter groups want, is to have an incident that mars this great game.
That's it.
In my opinion, it sucks that we can't be together and celebrate together. I understand the safety issues of it, and that's why I don't blame SAFC, RGV for making the decisions that they did. But it sucks that it had to come to that. But just be smart, guys. It's a game, 90 minutes. You can 120 minutes, however long that the game goes. You can go back and forth, but at the end, if you can walk out, not necessarily arm in arm, but a little bit banter of hey, you lost, you won. As long as it's in fair play, please do that. Don't be an asshole. So sorry to end it on that note, but I think it's an important note to end, just because this is the biggest game of the Derby, and it's a close Derby. So, but thank you for everybody tuning in. Robert, Gabriel, Gerald, Brett, AJ, thank you for turning in. Robert, once again, for turning in. It's fun. We'll do this next week, win or lose. We'll be back at some point for that. But what's life without goals?
See ya.